Hey guys, Toast here. Today we're going to review and discuss the Model 10A, a pump-action shotgun available for 200 war bonds per variant for the Assault class in Battlefield 1. We'll discuss the stats of each of the different variants, attachments, the situations in which the weapon excels, and some tips when playing with this particular weapon. The Model 10A comes in 3 different variants: Factory, Hunter, and Slug. 2 of the variants, the Factory and Hunter, are quite similar to one another, with the third, the Slug variant, being a distinct outlier. Because of the mechanical differences between them, we're going to discuss them a bit differently than in previous weapon guides. The Factory and Hunter both have a maximum damage of 8.4 and a minimum damage of 4.2 per pellet, with 20 pellets fired per shot. Both variants deal full damage per pellet up to 15 meters and then quickly drop off to their minimum damage at 21 meters. This means that the 2 variants are theoretically capable of a maximum single shot damage of 168 up to 15 meters, assuming the best possible conditions in which all 20 pellets hit the target. Now, as many of you are fully aware, it's highly unlikely that all pellets in a shot are going to hit the target in most cases, so for the sake of practicality, expect that the one-shot kill range is going to be less than 15 meters for both variants. Both have a muzzle velocity of 333 meters per second and recoil of 11 degrees vertical with 0.8 degrees to the left and 1.2 degrees to the right. The defining differences between these 2 variants comes into play with 3 things: the pellet dispersion, the recoil decrease, and the spread decrease. The Factory variant has more recoil decrease, making the target itself easier to acquire more quickly after each shot for more accurately aimed follow-ups. And it also has more spread decrease, meaning that the variant will drop back to its initial spread more quickly between shots, again allowing for more accurate follow-ups. The Hunter variant, on the other hand, has a tighter initial dispersion of 1.8 degrees instead of the Factory's 2.25 degrees, which means that as the pellets initially leave the weapon, they're spreading out at a tighter angle, making it likely that more pellets will reach a further target with each shot. How this all boils down to optimal usage we'll cover shortly. Now for the Slug variant, this variant shoots a single slug capable of dealing 100 maximum damage and 43 minimum damage. The damage begins to taper off quickly at only 10 meters, but drops very slowly to its minimum damage at 60 meters. This means that it's only a one-shot body shot kill up to 10 meters, and similar to many of the scout weapons, you need to pay close attention to where you're aiming with this variant, as the limbs and lower torso of enemies have a 0.96x damage multiplier, meaning that if you hit an enemy anywhere but the head or upper torso, then it won't be a one-shot kill even at its 100 damage range. Because of the single projectile, the variant has a faster bullet velocity of 380 meters per second, and it has the same recoil pattern as the other 2 variants. However, it has a slightly higher ADS spread and a significantly higher hipfire spread. In fact, the hipfire spread is up to 5 times higher than the Factory or Hunter variants, meaning that unless you're in dire straits, you really don't want to hipfire this variant because you don't really know where the slug's going to end up going. All 3 variants can hold a maximum of 6 rounds at a time, with each shell being reloaded individually regardless of how many are remaining. The attachments for the Model 10A are again similar with the Factory and Hunter variants, and then differ a little bit with the Slug variant. The Factory variant has 2 versions of iron sights, standard or shotgun rib. The variant has magnifications of 1x up to 2x, and you also have the option of attaching a bayonet for those often frustrating melee kills. The Hunter variant is the other variant with iron sights, again both standard and shotgun rib. The magnification of this variant also ranges from 1x up to 2x, and has the bayonet attachment option. The Slug variant has a built-in optical sight in which you can select 4 reticles, 2 circular, and 2 cross. This is the highest magnification of the variants, ranging from 1.25x up to 2.5x, and like the other 2, you can attach a bayonet. As I'm sure you've noticed with this trend so far, the Factory and the Hunter variants are useful in pretty similar situations where the Slug variant is a bit different. The Factory and Hunter variants both strongly excel in very close range engagements. The Hunter variant is going to offer you the option of having more pellets hit a target a bit further away due to the lower pellet dispersion, but will be less accurate with quick follow-up shots. The Factory variant is going to have a higher dispersion, so less pellets are likely to hit a further away target, but the accuracy of your follow-up shots is going to be significantly higher. Because of this, if you have pretty solid aim and are capable of consistently hitting mid-body on targets, then the further one-shot capability of the Hunter variant may be more useful to you. If you find you may have difficulty nailing consistent center mass shots, where follow-up shots will be necessary, then the factory might be more suitable. The slug variant is interesting because it only deals 100 damage up to 10 meters, however it does have an optical sight and higher magnification than the factory or hunter variants, which gives you a bit of leeway in how you play. Now you'll likely want to play more conservatively with this variant than the others, as you have a single projectile which requires higher accuracy to hit. However, if you have really solid aim, you can play this variant a bit more aggressively as well. Of all the shotguns available to the assault class, the Model 10A has both the highest potential single shot damage, but also the slowest rate of fire. This is a shotgun that's designed to really make each shot count, as your follow-up shots may not be quick enough to secure the kill prior to being taken out. Really focus on getting within the one-shot kill range with this weapon, particularly with the hunter and the factory variants prior to engaging the target. The slug variant of this weapon is definitely the highest skill cap of the variants. If your aim is really solid, you can go on a tear in close range. If, however, your aim may not be quite as on point, then you can also be more conservative and pick off targets at medium range. Regardless of which you choose, aiming down sights is going to be the key to success with this variant. The style you choose is up to you, and you know your skill and comfort level best, but don't be afraid to be aggressive if you're confident that your aim is strong. With all variants of this weapon, aiming down sight while standing still is going to offer you the lowest possible spread, giving you the most accurate shot. Hip fire while not moving is going to be the next most accurate, with hip firing while moving being the least accurate fire method. That said, the differences in spread are somewhat negligible, particularly between hip firing while not moving and hip firing while moving, so hip firing with both the factory and hunter variants is going to be pretty reliable unless the target is at the far end of the one-shot kill range, in which case aiming down sights might be beneficial. As discussed earlier with the slug variant, you really want to aim down sights at all times, as this is a single slug round which, if hip fired, will either be a lucky hit or more likely a miss. As with most shotguns and first-person shooters, the effective range of the factory and hunter variants is really not very long, so you want to limit their usage to maps that are small like Suez or Argonne Forest, or at least maps that have a lot of tight corridors and spaces like Monte Grappa with the B, C, and D conquest capture points, or Amiens with its many buildings and narrow hallways. Large open maps like Sinai Desert, St. Quentin Scar, and Foul Fortress are much less ideal for the factory and hunter variants, however they can be much more ideal for the slug variant, all depending upon your playstyle. Now I want to know how you feel about using the Model 10A. Do you like the weapon and feel it's viable, or do you feel that there are other weapons that may be a better choice for the assault class? Let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, please leave a like, and if you want to see more content, please subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Toast, and I'll talk to you soon.